Hey guys, I just wanted to get on video here and just explain a little bit of what happened in the market today. It was a little bit shaky as far as data and price action wise, but I kind of want to go over what happened today and how we can avoid some bad trades and also get into some good ones. I feel like this is going to be a good video for all those who have doubts about data and how it may work for you. I am going to go over my thought process on today's price action as well as the data that came in as far as market net flow, convergence, and the gamma exposure levels. So I hope that this video does help you. So yeah, let's just get right into it. Okay, so pretty much the entire day we had some bullish momentum on flow. Pretty much out the gate, we had calls coming up pretty rapidly, and we had some negative declining price action. You can see on the chart here of the day chart. Right off the bat, I thought, okay, we're going to get a nice pullback. We're going to fill a gap to the downside, which we made. You can see that this gap right here we made, and then we went all the way up to about 459 on SPY. And then I thought to myself, okay, we're going to have a nice pullback, fill the gap, and then have a bounce, and then reverse pretty much the whole day. Just by looking at flow, that's usually what I look for when I get into my plays is how is flow looking? Is it bullish or bearish? And the setup that I'm looking for is usually in favor of the flow. So overall today was really rough. You can see that flow was bullish pretty much all day until calls started to sell off, and you can see puts started to ramp up a little bit on this decline of price action notified by this white line. But the main takeaway I want to share with you guys is the convergence bars down here. They played a key factor in me not getting into any longs at all. Now you can see a couple convergence flips here, which probably would have ended up okay depending on how disciplined you guys are in the trading. But I'm going to say that most people are not as disciplined as some people, including myself. I try to be as disciplined as possible. But I will give in favor of these convergence flips not working. And I'll go over those in a little bit more detail here. But a big role in me not going long too early in this huge decline in price action on SPY today, over the overall market is down, was because of this gray convergence. You can see that these are very strong, and they pretty much kept you out for the most part, give or take one or two times when it did flip green. But those green flips probably wouldn't have lost you too much money on those. And I'll go over those in just a short while. But I know there are a lot of people that are like, okay, there's all this data, Stonicdad, how do you use it in your trading, and how does it work and how does it not? And today was one of those days where it was kind of really shaky, and I told all you guys in Discord and or wherever you guys talk to me that it was a little bit rough today. And I mean, there's going to be days like that, guys. Nothing is ever 100%. I want you guys to know that. And just over my analysis and everything that I do in regards to flow data and stuff like that, is it does work a lot more times than it doesn't. Today was a little bit shaky, but there were some plus sides to what happened today in the market, and convergence was one of them. But let me tell you guys a little bit of what happened in the market today as far as the GEX levels, and then going off of what flow was telling us as well. So I did briefly mention how the market was selling off. You guys already knew that. But in my mind, I was waiting for that long entry, just because of how good flow is looking. I mean, you had I can't even talk, a divergence of calls at about 5 to 10 million or so. It looks like it went up to about 9 million was the high of the flow data here. So it was about in the 5 million to 9 million range in calls, and then puts were well below zero. So I was waiting for that long entry, but we didn't really get it. There were two instances here where I might have taken a long entry, and that was maybe this convergence flip here. I did not take that one. I actually missed it, and it only lasted 1 minute. So yeah, that didn't last very long. Which that one might have been a good entry, which you probably would have gotten stopped out pretty rapidly once we broke that 457 level. You can see over here. where it did get a bounce off 457, this yellow line, and then it broke pretty rapidly back down. But yeah, so that one might have been a good position to enter, but you would have gotten stopped out really, really quick on the gray convergence flip there. Now, this one was an okay one. If you would have been very disciplined on this convergence flip here, you probably would have made it out green. So in this case, if you would have gotten in like right when the convergence flipped was down here at 12:30 Eastern, you could have caught about a 50-cent move to the upside there. And I mean, 0-day expiration or even 1 day, that probably would have netted you about 10 to 20%, which is a very, very good trade. But if you were disciplined, if you weren't disciplined, I'm going to say that most people are not going to be disciplined. You might have gotten out there with a little bit of a loss. But other than that, guys, those two were the only opportunities that we had to go long, just because flow data was all over the place. Going into the last part of the day, you can see that puts got really close and calls got really close together, and those are not very good trades when convergence flips here. And you can see this huge spike in call premiums, and that is flawed data. Usually when I see large spikes like that, there's some call orders that are very unusual, and they should not be as a part of this data coming out. So I always make sure to see if these spikes are legit or not. And more often than not, there's something going on in the flow data. In this case, there was something going on, and this huge spike from like about 2 million in call flow all the way up to 13 was definitely not there. Now for the remainder of the day, it looks like it did. That was some legit movement to the upside. Maybe not this one. I didn't really look at this smaller spike. But for the most part, it looks like both calls and puts were going up at the same time as the market was continuing down. But the gray convergence here definitely kept you out of those trades. Now, I do emphasize a lot of the convergence because that's where you can catch the really good momentum trading and you don't get into bad trades. So these gray convergence bars kept you out while flow was bullish. This one right here, this flip might have been okay. I just didn't take it just because of that flawed spike in call flow. It looks like it might have been okay. Let me take a screenshot here. And props to whoever told me to get a vertical screenshot tool. I figured out how to do it on here, so we can see exactly where the entry was on the price action here. So let's do that real quick. So it looks like it flipped around there. Let me move the ruler here and flip this around, get rid of the ruler. If I can figure out how to get rid of the ruler. There we go. So it looks like, ooh, bad arrow. But it looks like it flipped about there, and it only moved up about, 25 cents, give or take there. And then it head back down. So that one, I probably wouldn't have been okay. That one might be a loss there because just how quick it moved. But again, I didn't take that one just simply because the call spike and flow was flawed data, so it wasn't actually a big divergence like it was when this flipped. But for the most part, convergence did a very, very good job the remainder of the day, and we didn't catch, but gray convergence caught that downside move there as well. So yeah, as far as the data goes, it did okay. It didn't go in favor of how the flow is looking, which sucks. And I know it sucks for most of you because you don't get into trades just like me. I didn't get into one just simply because price action was not going the way that smart money was telling it to. And then there was a couple hiccups in the 0DT GEX levels as well, which I can talk about briefly here. You can see that this 457 level was dropping very negative, and that pretty much I thought to myself that we were gonna get a push up to at least 457 as we were bouncing around this 456 level, which we didn't. We got up there quite a few times when this level got negative, but not at the level perhaps or quite. It got there at 456.60, which was about 40 cents away. Didn't hit that price target. But the big one to look for is the change. You can see that later on in the day, this pink line or light red, I don't know what color this is, but this is 455. You can see that dropped, and then that looks like it dropped about 14 Eastern, which is 11 my time. So about here on price action is when that dropped, 11 around this area when we were above 456, that 455 level started dropping, and you can see that price went and met that pretty quickly. So that 457 kind of was it kind of, just as I was looking at it, I was like, okay, we're going to get there to that 457 level. But it was kind of a distraction from what really was going on in the market. So it made it really hard at looking at data today. I'm not going to lie. But this was just one of the days where it was kind of shaky. Nothing really played out 100%. But if you combine all these together and not one of them work out, that's when I pretty much stay clear. All of these things have to line up together for me to get into a trade. And that's kind of the whole topic I wanted to get across in this video is all these things have to line up for me to get into a trade. So convergence, flow, above EMAs, and the GEX levels all have to coincide together. Now you can see that convergence didn't coincide with flow, and then there were no really big GEX levels to the upside that we could look for, which I mean, there was that 457, but convergence didn't match up very well with flow. So yeah, guys, I hope that made sense. I'm just trying to speak my mind. I just wanted to hop on real quick and discuss that with you guys. But yeah, if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. I really do appreciate watching and watching you guys comment on all these things and watching you guys actually win using this data just off my videos. It brings a lot of pleasure to me. So I appreciate all you guys commenting and stuff like that. If you want to hit me up on Discord, I'll provide a link down below. You can get all this data on that Discord as well. So yeah, guys, I'm going to shut up. Hope you guys have a great rest of your night, and I'll see you all in the next one.